Hello the internet, hope you're all well, thanks for stopping by. Another week, another online time trial, and this is a special one. It's the Nurburgring 24 hours this weekend, and as such, we're doing the time trial at the Nordschleife. Not the full Nurburgring, but the Nordschleife. At the time of filming, the gold standard time stood at an 8:32.689. I think with natural evolution over the next couple of weeks, we're looking at a sub 8 minutes 30, so let's try and get you that gold medal time. I'm playing with my Fanatec CSL wheel and I'm using manual gearbox. These are my assist settings, everything is off except for ABS, which is set to default. As always on my guides, I've uploaded my fastest lap that you'll see in this video, which you can access by going to Showcase, going down to Content Search, filtering to Replays, and then searching for my name, Tough Monkey. This will give you access to all of the videos I've uploaded to the GT7 server. If you click on the appropriate one, it's the third one from the left as you can see there, and then click on Collection, it will add it to your game screen. This will allow you to import it as a ghost. That means you can use the time that you see in this video as an extra visual aid to get you that gold standard time and 2 million credits. From the game screen, go to Settings, go to the Ghost settings, load Ghosts, go across to Collection, and it should be that one there. If you click on that, it will load it into your game and you can chase down my time. Apologies that this video is a couple of days later than normal. I normally post on a Friday evening, but I was away all week on a training course through work. Yes, I know I do actually have a proper job. This was my first clean run through. I took a few attempts to get to the finish line without picking up a penalty. This was an 8:32, so actually just about on line with where we needed to be. This was my second complete run through. I say complete run through because I was well on track for beating the time and I slid wide at the final chicane. That felt so good. Now, just as I recommend to you guys, I'd set a target of going under 8 minutes 30. That was my goal and I just came so close this time round. I was starting to think I might not get to it, but however, this is the best run through I've done to date. As always on these guides, it's going to be a 2-lap guide. The first lap will be a step-by-step guide showing braking references, turning points and apexes, and the second lap through will be totally uninterrupted without me talking. Okay, final corner of the previous lap, get a good exit. We don't want to run too wide over there. The car will bounce a little bit if you get your wheels over onto the left hand side there. We're on a good clean run down to the first corner. I briefly went up to 4th gear, but I'm starting my braking here. I'm going to drop to 3rd. I'm going to try not to hit this curb on the left hand side too much because it unsettles the car and pushes it out wide there. You can get both right hand side wheels up onto the curb and then it's flat out through this corner here as we drop down the hill. This next right hander here is flat out. I've moved up to 5th gear. Don't turn in too late, otherwise you end up running wide on the left hand side here. It's flat out through this corner and you're just preparing for this tricky chicane here. I'm starting my braking here, dropping down to 4th, and then 4th is your friend on this track. In this car, 4th gear, you'll be using it more than any other gear. Then we've got this left-right-left combination where you don't really need to brake, you just need to lift off if the car's feeling as though it's getting away from you. If you do lift off, the front end will become heavy, it'll turn in, the back end will step out and you'll get a greater direction change. Take plenty of curb along these sections here as well. Get right out on the right-hand side. Then we're preparing for a very important corner. This is the start of a long straight. We're going to drop it to 3rd, mount the curb on the right-hand side there, and I'm straight back on the throttle as soon as I can. We're going to plunge down the hill, so I'm up to 4th gear straight away, and we're going to build up speed very quickly. Not a lot to do along this section here except take the line of least resistance. We're also going to get our first time check here, which is going to come up with a 51.475. As we crest over the Flugplatz, we're going to swing straight into this double right-hander. Make sure you turn in good and early, but keep off that curb if you can. That'll only just unsettle the car. Continue to turn that radius and just let it drift out to the left hand side, minimising the tyre scrub if you can. I'm going to speed up this section here, nothing to do except again take the line of least resistance. We come over the crest here on the right hand side, preparing to turn in good and early for this corner here. Keep the left wheels balanced on that curb on the left hand side there, and then that line, can you see it there? That's where I'm starting my braking. That's my braking reference for this very important corner. We're going to drop it down to 3rd gear, the back end's going to go light and it's going to rotate the car back on the throttle, up onto the curb on the left hand side, and I'm moving up to 4th gear as we're going to plunge down towards the foxhole at the bottom of the hill here. Absolutely nothing to do here except take the line of least resistance, kissing the curbs on either side of the road as we plunge down the hill. The foxhole itself, flat out. In real life, this really makes your stomach churn, this does. I've done this in a Subaru Impreza before. This corner as well, we're going to turn into it flat out, but as I'm just about to hit that curb, I'm going to lift off the throttle. I'm going to drop to 4th gear and turn good and early through this right-hander here. This is a very tricky little section to get right. I'm going to drop to 3rd gear and keep a tight line around here. It's easy to let the front end of the car get away from you. You have to be hesitant on the throttle. Through this section here, wheels up on the right hand side of the curb there, just being patient on the throttle before you can floor it and get the left hand wheels up onto the curb there. You'll get another time check coming up here. We're at a 2:06. We're entering the Adenau Forest section of the track where it starts to get a little bit technical as we drop down the hill towards the village of Adenau. We just want to take a nice shallow line through here, move out to the right hand side and turn in good and early. I want to clip the curb on the left hand side, but not too hard. We don't want the car running out too wide on the right hand side because we've got to get right back on the brakes here. Brake earlier than you think, down to 3rd, keep a tight line through here and it means you can get back on the throttle early. Keep a tight line through this section here as we continue to drop down the hill. Again, get on the brakes good and early. I'm going to drop down to 3rd gear as we turn into this corner. It's almost got a double apex, and if you get on the power and turn in too early, it'll push you out to the left hand side there. So just be patient as you come out of that last corner. Take a nice early line through this right hand chicane. So left hand here, right hand here, up to 5th gear, move out to the left and then get on the brakes early, down to 4th gear. The back end will want to go light and then go straight back onto the throttle. The car going light and rotating will means it's going in the right direction. Just run out to the left hand side, we're into 5th, and then the tricky section, drop down into Adenau here. We're going to run it all the way down to 2nd gear. I'm trying to keep a good tight line here. I've gone a little bit too tight there, it's just unsettled the car as I've come out of the corner, but we're not going to lose too much time because we're still heading downhill, and there we see Adenau in front of us. In fact, the building directly in front is the hotel I stayed in when I went round the ring back in 2008. I'm going to get on the brakes at this point here, turn in early in 4th gear because the car will want to run out wide onto that curb on the right hand side. Back on the throttle as quick as you can. The Adenau entrance is on the right hand side just there, and this is the corner where the Ring King managed to bin his BMW just after coming on at Adenau. Take a nice tight line here, just be careful of running out too wide here. You can lose a bit of momentum very easily as we go back up the hill there. Then we've got a bit of a flat out section, a left hand corner you can take flat out, and then a critical right hand corner is coming up at the end of this straight just here. There's a very fast, very long section, so a good exit out of this corner is absolutely critical. I'm going to drop it down to 3rd gear. I'm not turning in too early because it's almost got a double apex this corner, but from this point onwards I'm flat out. I'm up to 4th gear as I'm leaving the corner, and then it's just nothing to do except flat out, line of least resistance all along this section. What I would like to do though is offer a massive congratulations to car number 50, the Bilstein BMW M4, who have just crossed the line in 2nd place in class in the Nurburgring 24 hours, containing Steve Brown, SuperGT, and Jimmy Broadbent. Absolute inspiration to us sim racers and YouTubers. Anyway, you take these two left-handers absolutely flat. Just be careful you don't run out too wide on the right-hand side. Move the car over to the left-hand side for entry into this right-hander. Don't go too tight around it. You don't want to clip that curb on the right-hand side because it may unsettle the car. Then you've got this naughty little corner on the right-hand side coming up here. I'm braking at this point here. I'm going to come down to 3rd gear, and then you've got to be very patient on the throttle. It draws you into putting the throttle down just a little bit too early, which makes the car push out to the left-hand side. So at this point here, I'm back on full throttle. I'm going to stay in 3rd gear as we're moving uphill towards the carousel and aiming for a reference point. It's coming into view now. They always say aim for the big tall tree. It's not as tall as it used to be, but it's in the middle of the screen there, and then we're going to drop to 3rd, drop into the banking. Got to be very patient on the throttle, very easy to slide out up onto that top section, and that will compromise your exit. I'm now going full throttle. We're aiming to just clip the curb on the right hand side there, stay in 3rd gear as we move up the hill, up to 4th gear, and then we start to get into the tricky technical section. It's very fast but very tricky. Blind corners. I'm going to take this corner flat out, not a problem there. Move the car over to the right hand side of the track, ready for this tricky section here. I'm beginning to turn in, but there's just a little bit of a lift lift off you need just to get the back end to step out and the front end to turn into the corner. Again, being very careful here, so easy to run wide onto the left hand side there. I'm going to have to lift off, a little bit of braking just to keep the car in check. There's a lot of front end slide there, we're getting a lot of understeer, but don't worry, you can go up onto the grass there, flat out through this section along here, continuing to accelerate up into 5th gear, turn into this left hander here, you can get up on the curb here, you can take plenty of curb as you come out of this corner here, take curb on the right hand side, just be careful, it will unsettle the car and push it out towards the left hand side there. Again, you can take plenty of curb on the left hand side, up onto the grass, then this corner, full commitment, just a tap of the brakes just to get the car turning in, but then all across the curb there, you can go really wide across that curb, and then we're coming into the famous YouTube spectator section. I'm sticking in 4th gear, I'm letting the back end step out, I'm running right out to the right hand side of the corner and opening up the last bit, the left hander, a dab of the brakes here, but I've just missed my turning ever so slightly. I want to be a bit closer to the curb there, and it's compromising my exit. I've run a little bit wide on the exit, but all good, we've still got full throttle. Coming up to this tricky right hander, I'm going to give a little bit of braking, turning, and I'm just going to respect that curb on the right hand side because it can push you further out to the left hand side than you want to. Then we've got this pig of a left hand corner at the top of the hill just here. Very easy to run out wide on the exit because it does tighten up on you. So I drop to 3rd, turn in early, just hesitant on the throttle, and then from this point onwards we're flat out over the crest, run the curb if you really need to, and then we're going to begin the drop down to Flats Garden. This is a flat out section of the track, just run the line of least resistance as we're approaching the crest just here, and then as soon as we land we're getting ready to turn into this right hander. I'm applying the brake, and this is again full commitment because from this moment onwards we're going to be flat out for a great deal of time. There's absolutely no reason to brake or even lift off through this section. I keep saying it, but it's all about taking the line of least resistance. It rings true at the Nurburgring like nowhere else. We're just trying to graze these curbs on the side of the track. There's no point really monstering them because it will just unsettle the car. We're just wanting delicate inputs through this just to try and keep the scrubbing of the tyres as low as possible. Then we've got this right hander here. I just drop a gear just to turn in and then go straight back up to 5th gear, ready for this left hander here, which can catch you out. It just seems to tighten up as you go over the crest of this left hander here. It sort of draws you into going over that curb on the right hand side here. You can get your right wheels right up on the curb there, but no more. You don't want to get into the gravel, otherwise you'll lose all your momentum. Then I'm just going to lift off, a little bit of braking, drop it to 3rd, and it's critical to keep in the banking. It spits you out. It's so easy to get fired off onto the grass on the right hand side and lose all your lap time. Then from this point onwards you should be flat out in the Suzuki Swift. It's just a matter of timing. You turn into this corner here and then taking an early turn in for the next part of this, and then it's still flat out. I'm going to go up to 5th gear as I leave this corner here, and then you've got nothing to do for the best part of a minute. So if you want to go and put a kettle on or something, I don't care. In fact, no, let's spin it on forward. I'm just going to get the time reading there. So we're going under the Audi bridge at 7:28. From here on in, there's nothing to do until we get to the last chicane of the track. The only thing I'd say is stick in 5th gear. Don't go up to 6th gear because the revs don't go high enough to warrant going up to 6th gear. Then I'm onto the brakes at this point here, going into this final chicane. Very easy to mess it up right at the end of the lap here. Down to 3rd gear, just keep the car under control. Take plenty of curb on the right hand side there. You can take a bit of curb on the left hand side here, just stay on the left of the track. I'm beginning to brake here, turn in earlier than you expect here, but just don't hit the wall. You don't want to mess up right there. Get a clean exit, don't run onto the grass on the left hand side, and then floor it for the line. And hopefully that should be a sub 8:30 time. Okay, we've seen the lap broken down into little sections. Now I'm going to sit back and let you watch the full lap through again without me talking. I'll catch you at the end. Okay, there you go, a sub 8 minute 30 time. It's been a long video, congratulations if you made it this far. I'm going to leave you now, thanks very much for watching. If it's been useful to you, do consider a like, a comment and a subscribe, and I shall see you on the next video. Take it easy.